Hi everyone, this is Jessica Canty again, your life and career strategist. I think we're ready to roll. I just got a message from our guest speaker. She said, ready, and I told her, yes, I am. So for those who haven't met me yet, I am Jessica Canty, and I'm going to bring in our guest speaker so you can get to know me and get to know her. Welcome. Welcome to those who are coming in. Welcome, you all. Come on in. Hi, Brittany.
Hey!
So happy to see your face. All right. I was just telling everyone.
You too.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see some more people joining us in our conversation. So I'm so excited about the conversation we're going to have tonight. If this is the first time you're seeing both of our faces, hi, welcome. My name is Jessica Canty. I am your life and career strategist. Now, what does that mean? That means I have a passion for helping people to go from the unfulfilled jobs into their dream careers. And tonight is a conversation that's going to help you to do that. I have the honor of chatting with the founder, CEO, all-around girl boss of Career T.H.R.I.V.E. And today's conversation is going to be the beginning of a series. She's my very first conversation in this particular series, so you're my inaugural.
Okay, let's do this.
Right. And I was like, okay, so what sounds cute about a Sunday? I said, you know what? She's helping people be successful, and Sunday's the beginning of the week. So this is going to be Set Your Success Sunday.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, because we can't wait for it. We can't expect to show up. We have to set our intentions, set our minds, set our goals towards it. And I'm hoping that throughout our conversation today, we give you all some nuggets of wisdom to help you set your success. 2020 will be here before you know it. It's right around the corner. So let's be able to prepare for that. Okay, so I just kind of want to introduce you all to our guest speaker on this evening. I want to tell you a little bit about how I met her and why I thought it was so important for her to meet you all. She and I both participated in an incubator, if you will, about a 3-month-long process for speakers and coaches. And when I saw what she was doing in the marketplace after that, I said, this is somebody that needs to be in front of people because she's got a valuable service and a plethora of wisdom to give. And anytime someone invests in their own leadership, you know that they're going to care about you. If it's just someone who's fly by night that just has something, just some type of pop-up shop and they haven't invested in their craft, they're not going to take care of you. But that's not the case with Brittany. This is a young lady, and I say young lady like she is a millennial. So she is out there moving and shaking in the marketplace, telling them that no man despise your youth because she is out there doing amazing
things. On, 1 Timothy 4:12.
Come on.
Love it.
So you can find Brittany in a multitude of marketplaces, if you will. But one of the things that I really got excited about when I saw the work she was doing is that she's able to look at the different niches, if you will, that often get overlooked in the career fields. Oftentimes, people of color get overlooked. Oftentimes, women hit a glass ceiling just because of their gender. And then I said it lightheartedly, but even there's a lot of ageism in the workplace, going from multiple generations to multiple generations. But most specifically, millennials get a bad rap for being entitled, not wanting to work. And not a lot of companies are doing all they can to reach out to this uniquely gifted set of people in that generation. And this is not to separate out any other generation, but most specifically, they have a unique set of gifts and skills because we're almost in a sandwich generation. Now we've got a generation behind millennials and a generation that's still in the workforce, but we have unique gifts and challenges. So Brittany is able to address all of that. If you're a woman of color, you're in the right place. If you are a millennial, you're in the right place. If you're someone who wants to be in leadership in your company, like I just want to be able to know I'm charting a path to leadership in my company, then you are in the right place for our conversation on tonight. So I'm bragging on Brittany, but I want her to be able to introduce herself to you all too. So I'm going to mute myself for a moment. Brittany, you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm so excited to be on tonight. I appreciate the warm introduction, the energy. I'm feeling it. And I'm so excited for the invitation. And to be the first on this series is really, really exciting. So thank you for having me. First and foremost. Secondly, I want to say thank you to all of you. So if you are joining us live, or if you're watching the replay, or if you're catching this on YouTube or some replay platform of this conversation, hello to you. I'm excited that you're here. My name is Brittany Cole, and I am just super excited about this conversation. I have the pleasure of working with diverse millennial talent to help them thrive in your career. So really what I get to do now full time, which I know Jessica knows a little bit about, and that part is recent. So I've been doing this work for about 5 years now, and I recently took the for real leap into full-time entrepreneurship 3 months ago, a little over 3 months ago now. On August the 19th, I left my corporate role to pursue this work full-time because I absolutely love it. And so succinctly, I could tell you a lot of titles. I speak, I do trainings, I do workshops, I do corporate consulting, I do coaching. But the bottom line of all of that, particularly for women, is that I help women create a relevant and a strategic plan around your career brand. And at the end of the day, that's the work that I do as concisely as I can put it. So one, it's going to be a relevant plan that's specific to you. I think a lot of the times, if you're like me, I love books, but I've got some great authors behind me that sometimes from a leadership development perspective don't speak to the nuances of being a woman of color in the workplace. There's some up and coming resources that I'd love to share with you that are getting to that, but most resources don't necessarily hit on that nuance. So one, the plan has to be relevant. Two, it has to be strategic, and then it has to be around what your career brand or your career story, value proposition, the solutions that you bring to the roles that you have an opportunity to rent, what that is. So that's the work that I do in a nutshell. I'm excited to be on tonight, and thanks again for having me.
Awesome. So my ears are just perking up. I'm looking over here because I got some questions, but as you were talking, I had like a billion questions to ask you because this is the great work that you are doing. So I found it really interesting that you were saying relevant and brand, because there's a lot of talent out in the market, and we have to be able to be in the same space of competition, but know that our talent is still needed. So can you just kind of expound on what do you mean by being relevant and a brand? Most people don't think about a brand with a career. They think about it if it's an entrepreneurship venture. So can you just kind of expound on that for me?
Absolutely. So we know from research that 90% of career advancement, so when you look at people that are promoted, whether that's within their organization or they get a promotion that's external, 90% of what factors into that is image and exposure. So you may have heard of the pie before: performance, image, and exposure. And a lot of people think that performance is the biggest slice of the pie. It is not. Exposure is the biggest slice of the pie, followed by image. And the last slice of the pie, 10% of the pie, is performance. So what that means in a nutshell is that oftentimes we think, right, we're taught, I can hear, what was the show that we all used to love, Scandal, where her dad told her, you got to work twice as hard to get half as much. We think that means we have to work hard. And so we get into the job, we put our head down and we work. We're taking all of the extra assignments. We're doing this, we're doing that. We're like, wait a minute now. I've been here 5 years and folks are passing me by and I'm doing all of this work. And so where I come in is to say, bro, sometimes, sis, more than likely, you're doing the work, but the image may not be there and the exposure oftentimes is not. And that's where the branding comes in. It's like, are you being intentional about not who you know, but who knows you, and ensuring that what they know about you is relevant to who you are. So that's where that branding piece comes in, because to your point, just like you said, Jessica, a lot of times we think about personal branding from the perspective of, well, I'm a business owner or I'm an entrepreneur. But I really work on what I like to call packaging, which is all of this. So it's the social media, it's all of the pretty things, the logo, the colors that oftentimes we think about when we hear the word branding. That packaging comes last, after you know your message, you know your story, you know how you're showing up. And that's the work that I get to do with clients from a coaching perspective, that then helps you to be relevant when you're looking for those opportunities, and then ideally helps those opportunities come to you.
Absolutely. And Brittany, you know, I'm nodding my head because everything you're talking about kind of came up in our conversation. We had a career convo week about a few weeks ago. And so you're just confirming everything that we talked about, in that that even 85% of people are getting jobs filled for networking. So if you've got the image, like you were saying, then those connections will come to you. And I really like that you were talking about that you're coaching. Why is it important that someone gets a coach to help with that image exposure? Why do you think
so sure. I think at the end of the day, when you think about coaching, I think the easiest way to think about it is having another set of eyes. So it's having someone else that may be neutral to your situation, take a look at the decisions that you're looking at making, and then the coach really helps you think a little bit deeper, think a little bit more strategic, maybe even helps you with streamlining, which is oftentimes what I find myself doing. It's like the clients come with like all of this stuff, like all over the place. And it's like, okay, let's really streamline, get focused on what the goal is, and then building out tactical steps to help us get there once we have a really clear strategy. And I think oftentimes we approach our careers from a kind of a passive place of like, you know, whatever comes to me, or if I get the job, versus being on the offensive and saying, you know what, I'm going after this. I know who I am. I know the experiences that I've had. I know what I'm looking for. I'll say that again. I know what I'm looking for, and I emphasize that because so often clients don't know. It's like, what do you want? Oh, I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. And I think a question to help you kind of get clarity around that, and I'll throw this one out here, is like, you know, if you could create your ideal work experience, is what I call with clients your IWE, not the title, not the job. What is the ideal work experience that you want? What does that look like? Who are you working with? Are you going into work? Are you working from home? Are you working in a team? Are you leading a team? What kind of work are you doing? Like, what is that ideal state for you? And that helps you to kind of frame up what it is that you want. So then we can put a plan together to go after it.
Absolutely. And I like that you were saying that, because you have to have a starting point. And I think that that's another reason why you are a great coach, because a lot of times people, like you said, expect the success to come to their door. And it really is about setting up that strategic path to be able to get to it. Because like you were mentioning, you don't want to be the person who is doing all this great work, but yet people are getting promoted over you. And so you really want to make sure that you're in a space where someone can kind of give you that bird's eye view, like you were sharing, to kind of chart that path for you. So would you give any tips around setting that path, or based on the information that you have with the clients that you've worked with before, would you give our audience anything that you really think that they should know about thriving in their careers?
Yeah. And so I'll start with just 2 general tips, and then I'll give some tips. Kind of, I love acronyms and acrostics, so I'll share one with you that's in the form of the word thrive, that hopefully will help you do that. So I would say the first tip, particularly for millennials that may be listening in on the conversation tonight, I think one that's key is really patience, and making sure that, you know, we understand that our career is a journey and it's not this destination. I think so often we get so caught up in like the destination, like I want to be here, I want this role, I want this, and like that's the end goal that we get so focused on, and sometimes we miss the beauty in the journey towards getting there that may look different than what we thought. And that's definitely been my experience in my career. I've spent 12 years in pharmaceutical sales, pharmaceutical brand management, and then pharmaceutical sales management. And I'll tell you, getting to those promotions within those lanes almost always look different than what I thought that they would look like. And if I would have been focused on like, I got to get this job right now, I would have missed some really valuable experiences that ended me up in better opportunities than the ones that I thought that I wanted. So I say that I think that's just a general principle to kind of think about as a tip. The other one I wrote down because I want to make sure that I get this right. So it's in the word of thrive. And so the T is for taking time for yourself. And again, this goes back to that question of, well, do I know what I want? Like, have I done the work from the perspective of, taking some time for introspection, taking some time to really reflect on what are my skill sets? What is what I like to call your visa? What are your values, your interests, your skills, and your abilities? Do you know what those things are? And then what's that ideal experience that ladders up to that? The H would be, do I have habits that align with that ideal work experience?
That's some good
perhaps. Right, exactly. It's like, the New Year's is coming up. We almost always have, at least I'll speak for myself, have some habit around or some ideal state around weight loss. And it's like, okay, well, what habits do I have that are in line with reaching that end? And perhaps I need to create some new ones. So think about your habits. And then 3, the R is remember it's a journey. Right. And I shared about this. Just remember it's a journey. Don't get so caught up in the destination that you miss the beauty in the experiences of where you're trying to go. And I'll add this in too, particularly for those who may be side hustling, which I was for almost 5 years before this recent leap. And I think sometimes we think about entrepreneurship as a path to fulfillment because we aren't fulfilled in our current career, and we miss opportunities to gain skills on our current job that will prepare us better for entrepreneurship. So if you are employed today, you work at a business. So perhaps instead of complaining about where you are, it's a good opportunity to learn and gain some business acumen that will help you not just run a brand, but build a business. So that's for free for all the side hustlers that are on here. But definitely remember it's a journey. The I is be intentional about your development. And I this is probably my favorite because it's one that's been so helpful for me and one that I try to make sure that my clients have a good appreciation for. It's like, this is your career. This is your journey. So make sure that you're intentional about the resources, the training, the experiences, the exposure that will help you, because it's your career, get to where you want to go. The V is for vision, and vision is the starting point. It's not the end. So a lot of us, we do a vision board and then it goes behind a dresser somewhere. That's the starting point. Like, have the vision, do the vision board, but then you have to do the work. You must do the work. And then lastly, the E is embrace failure. Like, failure has been, for me, the catalyst that has catapulted me to the next level of my career on so many different instances. It's like, this didn't go as planned. I was challenged here. I failed here, but I extracted the lessons from that failure, and it helped to accelerate me moving forward. So I would share those tips with you related to your career development.
Awesome. That's got to be on a T-shirt somewhere, or on a poster in my room. So when I get up, embrace that, because I mean every letter is so poignant, and it's almost as if like it's a cycle as well. So once you get through all the letters, they start back up at the beginning. Okay.
Yes.
Especially because millennials have grown up in a unique space and time where they've never known a time without the internet, and we really know a lot about social media. So you can see all these pictures with people who are being successful, and so it can be really hard to accept something that didn't quite go the way that you wanted it to go in your career. And as you were talking about how you maneuvered around and excelled in your career, it didn't quite look like the path that you had set out for yourself, but it exceeded your expectations. I thought about how, that picture, or people think that success is this straight line, but then there's like all these jumble lines and it goes all over the place. And
that's it.
Absolutely. Just how much exposure and experience that you're getting, education that you're getting. You're also able to see the different images of the people who are successful, all while getting that performance while you're working. So that's some good stuff that you're sharing. So do you have, I know that you specifically focus on women. I'm quite sure that there may be some men joining this conversation. So gentlemen, do not leave, because she gave that's with the information she shared. It doesn't matter what gender you are. That's some great information. So it can be particularly challenging for women, most specifically women of color and young women. Is there anything specifically that you think that women need to know that perhaps your company offers, or that you want to give as a pearl of wisdom for them?
Yeah, so I would say one thing specifically for this audience here at Swagger Magazine. So if you go to careerthrivers.com/swag her, make sure you got the her in there. I've got a guide in there, and it's 3 essentials to packaging your personal brand. And I'll tell you, make sure you use the URL, because you won't find it if you go to the site, because it's specific to this audience. So make sure that you type in the link. Yeah, it's especially for this audience. So make sure you use the URL, because you won't see it if you just go to Career Thrivers. But I think the personal branding piece is huge. I cannot overstate that. I think the second tip that I would say for women, and this is one, Jessica, I know you heard too. So I'm pulling a quote from our coach, Marshawn Evans Daniels, and she said this at the retreat that we were in, and it's still to this day, like every time I read it or hear it or even say it, it's kind of like, ooh. So she says, waiting for confirmation is idolization of clarity. And I think oftentimes as women, we get so caught up in things being perfect, looking perfect, thanks to social media, being perfect, that we sit in this state of, I'm waiting for confirmation, particularly those of us who are believers. I'm waiting on confirmation. Oh, I think I should do that. I'm waiting on confirmation. When, sis, you're not waiting on confirmation. Like, you are being stagnant in fear and not taking the step that will lead to you then uncovering and having the revelation of that next best step. And so I say that I think that's so critically important for women, because I think oftentimes we do that for us, to ourselves. We have to kind of kill this sense of perfectionism, in the sense of having to have all of the information and all of the details before we can make a decision. I think that's really key for women.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, because like you said, just that confirmation or spirit of perfection, people are missing out on opportunities. Like you said, it's dressing up, being fearful. People were saying it's discernment and that they're waiting and all that good stuff, but it's really dressing up the fear or hesitation to move forward, to walk in their greatness, to be prepared for their success. Now, first of all, thank you so much for the gift specifically for Swagger Magazine community. They consistently give quality information to their community. And we brought Brittany on here, you all. So if you like what you heard, make sure you go to, I think I typed in it correctly. It was careerthrivers.com/swagger. Okay, so I put it in the comment section, you all. So if you want to find out about that wonderful gift, this is like just in time for Christmas. This is the best
there you go. Yes.
No need to stand in line or shop online. Get your career together. I'm seeing a whole lot of love in here. Thank you so much, you all. So if you like what you're hearing, most definitely reach out to Brittany on Career Thrivers, or you can talk to Swagger Magazine and say, bring Brittany back. Bring her back. We want to have more conversations with her, because I surely am. I'm definitely going to say, go on, Brittany. Let's have more conversations about setting people.
I would love to.
So if y'all don't, I'm going to request her back. Okay.
Invitation accepted.
Yeah. So you said a lot of the work you do is one-on-one coaching. How else do you work with people who want to thrive in their careers?
Yeah, so I do one-on-one coaching, and then I also do probably right now my most favorite offering, I must say, I do a group coaching of 10 to 12 people per cohort. So we're actually about to launch that again this week, and it's a personal branding accelerator. It's Boost Your Personal Brand. It's 5 weeks, and we really help you with 5 things. So the first week, we work with you on clarifying your personal brand. So if you're like, I don't really know what my brand is, I don't really know, how to define that if I had to say it in a sentence, that's where we start. Then we help you with communicating it. So how do you communicate your personal brand in a clear, concise, and compelling way? The third week, we work on connecting to build strategic connections. So for me, I don't really like to say networking, like meeting people and connecting with people, or networking is really about being strategic about making connections. The fourth week, we walk you through creating a plan. So that strategy, those steps, that's what we do the fourth week. And then the last week, I always save it for last, is packaging. So we talk about your LinkedIn profile as the social media platform of choice. If you have another one you want to walk through, we can do that as well. And then we help you with your packaging, everything from wardrobe to resume, all of your collateral that we like to say is kind of marketing materials that speak to your brand, because at that point, you'll know what it is. So, yep, that's launching this week.
Awesome. So are there any more spots available? Would anybody from the audience be able to be, I guess, a potential participant in this particular cohort?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I'll be doing this week is I'll be sending out a pre-launch to our email list. So if you go to careerthrivers.com/swag-her and grab that free guide, so that'll kind of be your get you started guide, you'll be on the list to get the pre-enroll invite. And we have about 8 spots left, because I had a couple clients that were waiting for the last cohort that went ahead and signed up. So we have about 8 spots left. I have a feeling we're probably only going to launch it to the email list. I won't even have any spots to launch it live. So just make sure that you download the guide. That way you ensure that you're on the list to get the email to fill up one of those first 8 spots.
Okay, you guys heard it here. She is letting you know, not only you're getting a free gift, you're getting an opportunity to reserve your spot in your success, to set yourself up for 2020 being the best year of your career, the very best year of your career. And she's giving this information to you all. Can you see that, Brittany? Someone said, can you pin it? Is that something?
Yeah, I can type it. I don't think that I can pin it. I think maybe you,
okay,
as the owner of the live, have to pin it. I can try. I'm not sure if it'll let me. Yeah, it's not my live. It won't let me, but I did type the URL in there.
Okay. So you all see the URL in there. And again, if for whatever reason on my end, my technology skills don't set you up for success with that pin, definitely you can reach out to Swag-Her Magazine. Oh, someone said, thank you. You're most welcome.
You're welcome.
You can reach out to Brittany directly as well at Career Thrivers. And again, she's got something special just for the Swag-Her community. So that's one of your announcements. I just wanted to make sure that if you had any further announcements that you could share that with the community. Yeah, so we're here. So anything upcoming up that may be able to see you in speaking engagements or anything like that?
Yeah, so we have some really exciting things coming up for 2020. We're not quite ready to announce them just yet. But I will say, if you've ever wanted to come to Nashville, you're going to have an opportunity to do that and hang out with us in 2020. So more news to come. We have a big event coming up in 2020. And so I cannot wait to share it. But make sure you go to careerthrivers.com/swag-her. Grab that free guide. You'll be on the email list for all the updates, and you'll be the first to know when this event goes live. Really excited about it.
Awesome. So this really means you all don't just listen in on what we're sharing with you. Take the step for your success. A lot of people will spend hours on Instagram, spend hours on YouTube, and try to soak up all of the non-investment wisdom. But if you really want to see your career skyrocket and move at a quicker pace and get those results, it's time to make an investment. It's time to make an investment of time, energy, and yes, even those finances. So you might want to go ahead and tighten up that purse string for your Christmas gifts and really invest in what's going to make next Christmas that much better. And that really is your career. Are you going to be the person who hates waking up on Monday mornings and you hate being in that cubicle nation? Or are you ready to be the person who walks in with joy, who knows that their passion and purpose are providing for their life? It's time to do that. It's time to not just invest in fast food, invest in longevity of your career. So it sounds like Brittany's got a great announcement. I don't know about y'all, but I'm about to get on that mailing list.
Yes, grab that guide. And Jessica, I am with you. I tell clients all the time, like, I want you to go from surviving at your job to thriving in your career. So if you are thinking about tomorrow with dread and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to go in here and deal with these people and talk to this manager. Like, if that's the vibe that you have about tomorrow, Monday, then definitely go to the URL, careerthrivers.com/swagger. It's a free guide. It walks you through 3 essentials to packaging your personal brand. It puts you on the list for our Boost Your Personal Brand Accelerator. And then I hope to see you in Nashville as soon as we release the details about our 2020 event.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, you all, well, you heard it here from Brittany. Just before we wrap up our conversation, I also have an announcement. So you all, I'm going to do a live resume review. Is it your resume I'll review? Nice. Maybe we could even pipe in Brittany's, because she's giving you some great information. In order to be considered for that, you have to send me an email. Send me your resume to jessicacanty@jessicacanty.com, because we are really focusing on making sure you are ready for your career. And so I'm going to talk behind the scenes with Brittany, because definitely she's giving some great information for you all to try to bring her back before you again, to make sure that you are able to sustain that longevity. But again, you all, if you want to see growth and change that is sustainable, that's not just a Instagram pic, you have to make the investment. It's time to make a change, because we want you to be passionate about what you do. Okay? Yes. And again, Brittany, it's been such a pleasure to be able to chat with you, to see all the wonderful things that you are doing in the entrepreneurial space. And congratulations for taking that step out there. So she is someone who's like, she's been there. She did the performance, she did the image, she's got the experience in her own career. So she's not selling you something she doesn't know. She knows
not at all.
She excelled in her career for, you said 12 years, I think you said, right?
It was 12 years. 12 years with Pfizer. So I was in the pharmaceutical space for 12 years.
There you go. So this is so she knows how to excel in a career. All right, you all, if you like what you heard, tell Swag Her Magazine. Make sure you head over to Brittany's page and hit follow and sign up for that email. And then be on the lookout for further conversations. Brittany, it's been such a wonderful time chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.